Hello, and welcome to our first video on prayer. I'm going to be doing a series of videos. As a matter of fact, actually, in the first two, I'll wear the same shirt because I'm going to do one right after this one. But I wanted to make it, this should be a short video just on kind of an introduction of prayer. And, you kind of think it's kind of an old philosophical question, right? What is prayer? And we expect an old philosophical answer. But I want to break it down into something that's real and practical. That's what I love about teaching the Bible. I try to break it down. I'm raw with my emotions. I'm real with them. And that's really what prayer was about. When we start looking at the different prayers in the Bible, we're going to find that people were just real with God. And that's what makes a prayer powerful, actually, is just that being totally real with God. There's not a form. There's not a formula. So much more simple than having step one, step two, step three. We're not going to find that in the Bible, even though we find the model prayer that Jesus gave the disciples in the Sermon on the Mount. And when they asked later, teach us to pray, he told them the same thing, right? And so, we have a lot of examples of prayer in the Bible. Probably I like John 17, Jesus prayed. That's an awesome prayer. We talk about Daniel's prayer a lot towards the end of Daniel. We probably read, there was a prayer of Solomon when he dedicated the temple. I'm just kind of pulling them out of Jonah's prayer in the belly of the well. There were all kinds of prayers given in the Bible. And what got me to really thinking about prayer was the day I realized that no two prayers were alike. There are absolutely, other than the model prayer where Jesus tells his disciples, kind of that model prayer, Our Father who art in heaven, other than that little model prayer, no two prayers are even similar in the Bible because they were based on the person's circumstance. Whatever they were going through was what they were trying to get out of, basically, right? And come out with their faith intact. They were based on faith, they were based on relationship. That's a key to prayer. Relationship. Prayer isn't about tapping out. Most of our prayers are tap out prayers. And here's what I mean by tap out prayers. Tap out is a term that's used in mixed martial arts. And when you're pinned and you know you've lost, you tap out. And tap actually means to avoid pain. So if they're jerking my arm around and instead of letting them break it, I'm going to tap out so that they stop, just to avoid pain, to stop that pain. And most times, many times, our prayers are tap out prayers. We just want whatever bad going on to stop. We just want something to change, except us, right? Sorry, that was free, right? We want to tap out. We want to get out of it, whatever it is. We just don't want this pain to go on. So we're reaching out to God to please give me an answer. Please show me a way out. And that there are those kind of prayers in the Bible to some degree. But if that's the only kind of prayer we understand, we're missing the whole thing. No two prayers are the same. No two prayers. Jonah's prayer was kind of a tap out prayer. Get me out of the belly of this well type prayer, you know. There were some tap out prayers. Please make, even some of the Psalms take on that nature, kind of, please get me out of this type thing, right? Please help me, deal with this. Please make my enemies go away, and I'm going to hide in you, and things like that. So some of the Psalms I would probably say are kind of tap out Psalms, tap out prayers, just to avoid pain, to avoid a hard circumstance, or feeling like you're stuck between a rock and a hard place or something. There's room for those prayers, absolutely room for those prayers. But I started looking at the different prayers. And I was like, no two prayers are alike, right? And I think what that tells us about prayer is that we build the prayer based on our circumstances, what we're going through, good or bad, and our relationship with God. Basically, how much we trust Him, right? And so as I looked through these prayers, that they were talking to God, and that's where the model prayer starts. Our Father who art in heaven. And then there's praise to Him. Hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come. They're always kingdom focused, right? Your kingdom come, your will be done. There was nothing. No, He said, give us this day our daily bread. That's like, just take care of our daily needs. So there's room for your physical needs. There's room for that. Nothing is excluded. God doesn't have a list that says, don't pray for these things, or use these words, or you're not going to get your answer, right? Or don't use these words, or there's no exceptions to prayer. God is just like, let's talk. And that's really what prayer is. It's if you want to beef up your prayer life, work on conversational skills where you then that conversation is going to be based on relationship. When you first know somebody, when you first meet somebody, your conversations are going to be around getting to know each other. Yeah, what do you like in your coffee? I like mine black, strong black. Right? I don't want enough. Don't ruin my coffee by putting anything in it. But somebody else might like sugar and cream in their coffee, right? And so, yeah, what do you like to watch on TV? What do you like to do for a hobby? What do you do in your free time? What do you like to read? What do you like to read? And for initially your conversations are relationship building because you don't even know that person. And as you get to know that person, then you start delving into deeper conversations. And once you trust that person, I hope you're following me here. Once you trust that person, you begin to share deeper parts of yourself. And that's what prayer is. It's going to start out real shallow at first. I promise, if you've never prayed before, or you've barely prayed before, or all you've ever done is said the Lord's Prayer, it's going to feel real shallow at first. But as you build that relationship with God, your prayer life should be changing as a result to the same proportion even. Because as you begin to trust God, no, of course you do realize you can't tell him anything he doesn't already know, right? You don't pray for information. You're not giving God information, right? You're wanting his wisdom to know what to do with the information you do have, right? What do I do with this, God? Right? And so as you grow in that relationship, your prayer life should change. If you are still saying the exact same formula prayers as you were when you first got saved and you got saved 25 years ago, you have not grown in the relationship with God. That your prayers should change based on that relationship, just like conversations change. Because see, as you get to know someone, I've got some really close friends and we could literally talk about anything and not get mad at each other and not, it wouldn't be relationship ending, right? But then I got newer friends or maybe friends that I don't know on a deeper level. And there's some topics I'm just going to avoid because I don't know where they stand and I don't, right? But with God, the more we know him, the more we understand we can share him everything. As a matter of fact, I encouraged a friend one time, and I still encourage in my devotions that I do on Facebook and here on YouTube too. I encourage you, if you're mad at God, just tell him. It's not like he doesn't know, right? Just say, I'm just really mad. I don't understand this situation. I don't know why this happened, and I don't have the emotions to deal with it. And sometimes you don't even have words other than just help me, God. And he gets it. And the more we trust him, the more we can trust him with. But you're not going to give him any new information. You're not going to tell him something he didn't already know. So if you're mad at him, he knows you're mad. And you can be as holy as you want, hands folded in prayer, eyes closed. Oh, our Father who art in heaven. And yet underneath you're just raging because you're so mad because he didn't answer when you wanted him to, or he didn't answer the way you thought he was going to. That happens. And you know what? Just tell him that, because it's all about building that relationship. It's all about having that conversation with God. And that's what I want to come down to. When we start looking at the prayers, the different prayers in the Bible, and I don't know if I'm going to do a study guide or not. I don't know. I haven't got there yet. But we start looking, I'm just going to start a series of just looking at the specific prayers. What came behind those prayers? Because sometimes we just read that prayer and go, oh, that's Hannah's prayer, so beautiful. Mary's prayer in Luke 2 is so beautiful. But let's look at what's behind that. What's the relationship with God behind it? Is there a relationship with God behind it? Where are they on that conversational level with God? We look at some of the prayers in the Psalms, and David and the other psalmists are just pouring their emotions out. As a matter of fact, several times in Psalms, it encourages the reader, pour your heart out before God. Why? First off, he can handle it. Second off, it's not like you don't know. And third off, that's the only place you're going to find help. And you want to get it outside of you, because if you just let things seethe here, when you can give it to God, you're going to be sick in your body, right? And there's no need for that. There's no need for the worry. Jesus even told us, don't worry. God knows what you need. Just tell him. And sometimes we don't even know. Sometimes it's more like, okay, God, I don't even know what I need here. Just help me discover you in this circumstance. Help me discover more about your love. Help me discover more about how you help me. Help me discover. It's okay to be broad, and it's okay to be specific and go, God, this person, whew, help me love them. Right? You can be specific. You're not going to scare God away. What you will be doing, though, is building that relationship with him. And you do that with conversation. So work on conversation skills, work on learning how to express yourself, build your vocabulary if you want to build your prayer life. Honestly, that sounds silly, doesn't it? But it's the truth. Just because you're just giving your heart to God. But you have to remember, a conversation is two ways. He's going to give his heart back. So you got to work on those receptors too. God, I need your help. And then see when he helps. See when he answers. Sometimes he's going to tell you no, and it's okay. And sometimes he's not going to give you $1 million, but he's going to give you a job that's going to help you provide for your family, right? God's got the answers. We just got to come up with the questions. And when we ask the right questions, we will begin to understand the right answers, right? So I'm going to encourage you once again, and I'm done already. Isn't that cool? What is prayer? It's conversation based on relationship. And you can take your conversations with God as deep as you're willing to go. That's what we're going to be looking at in the prayers as we begin to unfold them over the next few weeks. So have a great day. Make sure you hit subscribe, because you want to subscribe, because we're going to be going to places in prayer. This is going to be a totally different channel on my YouTube channel. It'll be a whole different playlist, I guess I should say, on prayer, just focusing on prayer. So begin to just talk to God and just tell him the truth. That's the place to start. That's what you start with, a conversation, right? Get to know him as he already knows you. See you in the next video.